Hello people, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Expert says XRP under consideration in US strategic crypto reserve, cites, quote, reliable channels, unquote. Okay guys, let's get into this. So, look, I've discussed this recently and I'm gonna, just quickly recap what I've said. We've had an amazing week with crypto under President Trump. So again, I don't want to get into the, whether you like him as a person or not, all that. Let's just push that aside. Keep your crypto. Look, what he's done for crypto within the last week or whatever, he's completely changed it. And, look, the way I've talked about crypto as of recent is just normal bull runs and stuff like that, like the normal cycles. But I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm not giving any kind of predictions because I don't want to give people false hope, right? I'm just telling you my thoughts out loud. But I think it's possible that this could be very different now because, he's put into position the end of SARB 21, which is something that was really hindering crypto companies and crypto exchanges and things like that. It was also hindering institutions getting involved. So you've now got the opportunity for institutions to come in and start doing custody services and things like that. We've also got talk about a digital asset strategic reserve. That's also something that's being looked at as well. So we've got opportunities here at this point where things could completely change. He's also talking about getting regulations done. And he's done all this within the first week of him getting into office. The thing for me with this is why I was still talking about normal cycles is because I didn't think he'd do all this so fast, right? I thought this would be something that would come up over months and whatnot. And he's got 4 years in office. So this could have been a gradual thing, but he's come in and literally within days, he's just completely changed everything around and made crypto completely positive. He's made it huge. And him having a meme coin, whether you agree with it or not, because I do understand some people's skepticism of that, but in terms of what it will do for mainstream attention, yeah. Although I will just say if the coin happens to fail, I do think that could also bring negative attention in the long term. But looking at it right now, with all the positives that's going on in crypto, I just think he's given a lot of mainstream media attention right now to crypto. And so I do think there are possibilities that this bull run could be different, right? Could this bull run possibly be a bit longer or something along those lines? Now, as I say, these are all just thoughts. I don't know, and I'm not committed to any kind of thought in general. I don't know for sure. These are just things that I'm thinking out loud. So please don't hold me down to any of this. I think we'll have to see how it all pans out more long term to see how that goes. So I'm not convinced of anything just yet, but these are just things that are floating around in my mind. So we now have this whole idea of this strategic crypto reserve. Okay, so I want to get into this, right? So I'm not a hype channel, I've said this before, and I am going to stand on this, but let's do some critical thinking so we can really get into why we think it could or couldn't happen. So I've said this in the past. Do I think XRP alone would be used for a strategic reserve? I don't personally think so. Not XRP alone, right? But do I think that XRP could be one of some other cryptos that could be used as a strategic reserve? Yeah, definitely. And so what I want to do is let's go for some critical thinking, right? Let's say the reasons why we think it could happen and why we think it couldn't happen. Because for me, it's not I'm always trying to be negative. And as I say, right now, I'll be honest with you, this is the most excited I've ever been in crypto. Just seeing everything that's happened so positively. I'm very, very positive about crypto right now, and XRP in particular. But let's get into it so we can really come to a solid conclusion on this. Okay, so let's talk about it. Okay, so why do I think it's more likely that it wouldn't happen? Okay, so first and foremost, if you was going to go with just one cryptocurrency, I would think you'd probably go more with Bitcoin, right? Now, for the people who are going to say, yeah, but Bitcoin's slow and Bitcoin is expensive and stuff, I agree. I completely agree. But you've got to understand, when it comes to using someone as a strategic reserve, one, Bitcoin is more established. It is the most established cryptocurrency out there. It's the highest value, so it's the most stable, right? And it's the longest, it's the longest performing. Like it's the birth of crypto, right? So I could understand why people would want to go with that one over XRP. Now, that's not to say that, that means that Bitcoin is better than XRP. I'm not saying that. I'm just understanding, certain people's thought process when they think about this. Also, Bitcoin's sole purpose is just store of value, right? Like it's not really a utility token, it doesn't really do anything unless you put a layer 2 on it. So in its core purpose, it's really just used mainly as a store of value right now. Okay. The other thing I'll say as well, what people are talking about if they were to use XRP as a strategic reserve, they're talking about, having to give the escrow over to the US government. Okay. So let me tell you what my thing is about that, right? This is my thing with that. Let's say they do that. Let's say Ripple say, okay, you can have the escrow. How does that then benefit Ripple though? Right? Because if Ripple give up all of their escrow, they no longer hold XRP anyway. So how are they gonna benefit from this? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't really get how this would really benefit Ripple to hand over the escrow to let them do that. And, let's be honest, Ripple are a business. So when they're trying to get XRP utilized, the reason why they're doing that is to help them as a company grow, right? To help fulfill their business desires, right? And grow as a company. So if they just take the whole escrow, well, how does that benefit Ripple then? Because they've no longer got XRP. And if we just be real, the way XRP have been funding their operations up until now is by selling XRP. So if you then take away the XRP, what have they then got to fund their operations? Right? So, I suppose you could say that maybe the government will give them money to do it, but then I would be thinking, one, would the government do that? Would they really want to give them money anyway? And two, would Ripple want to give up that XRP if it's going to then go wildly up in value, which could make their company way more better off? So would they really want to give that up, knowing that they could have way more money if they held on to the escrow and it was utilized? But then obviously the government are not going to allow that. So do you see what I'm saying? Do you see the conundrum there? So that's why I'm not so sure this would happen. The other thing is, again, if we was to keep it on the basis of Ripple get to keep the escrow, but, it was still used within a strategic asset reserve. So if that was the case, are the government going to be comfortable with Ripple having such a strong stake in that asset, right? Because this is the other reason why I'd say in terms of them preferring Bitcoin. While yes, there is Satoshi Nakamoto who has, X amount of Bitcoin, it's a much smaller percentage to what Ripple hold of XRP. And so, if XRP was to go wildly up in value due to, using it as a sole strategic reserve, the amount of money that Ripple would gain as a company, they'd have a huge monopoly. They'd become one of the biggest companies in the world, if not the biggest. So, I don't know if I can see them allowing that to happen, because I don't know if they would want that to happen, right? I don't know if they would want to see Ripple gain that much control, because again, that could then create a monopoly where Ripple have such a big presence that they can just dominate. Do you know what I mean? They could just dominate any industry because they've just got so much money. So these are the things in my head as to why I don't think it's possible. But let's get to the reasons why it is possible. So, okay. We know that Brad had a talk with Trump. They had a meeting with Trump. So I think this is very possible an idea that would have been discussed. So it could have very easily been a thing that Brad proposed this to Trump. Like, look, like if you do this and blah, 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 like, you know, this could massively help with paying off the debt and, you know, that kind of stuff. And, you know, these kind of things. So is that a possibility? Yeah, I guess so. As I say, I think there's more to the conversation than just that. And then, you know, like XRP, we know it's highly liquid. We know that, like, it's a proven cryptocurrency. So we know just in terms of what its utility is and that kind of stuff, we know that it would be a good choice, right? We just know, generally speaking, XRP would be a great choice. So yeah, like, do I think these are the kind of things that could lead, you know, Trump to look at this as, okay, you know, this could be a good idea. This could be something that's very useful. Yeah, I do. But this is why I ultimately come to the conclusion more of like a basket of currencies. And that's because it's not really just XRP that could help with this. Like, there's other cryptocurrencies. And also, like, you put in a little bit more stability in there because you're not just relying on one cryptocurrency, right? Like, you've got a basket of currencies. It's kind of like having the S&P 500. If you know what the S&P 500 is, it's basically the top 500 companies of America in one index fund, basically. So it just tracks the top 500 companies in America, and you've just got it in one fund. And that is like the most popular stock that people tell you to invest in. Like, people say just invest in the S&P 500, just invest in that long term and you'll be fine. And that's what I mean. Like, so if you was to get like a basket of the best currencies, the best cryptocurrencies in a strategic asset reserve, like, you're getting that balance, right? You're not hinging it all on just one cryptocurrency, right? Because, you know, as much as we love XRP, like, let's just say something was to happen with the ledger, or, you know, something was to go wrong, or we found some kind of issue that had not been found before. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, that could cause a huge problem. And so these are like the kind of things that they might be thinking, like, well, we need to balance this out, right? Like, as they say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Do you see what I'm saying? And when it comes to something as serious as using like a strategic reserve, yeah, I would be thinking that would very much be their thoughts. So, you know, overall, that's the conclusion I've come to. I think it would be more likely that there would be a basket of assets. I don't think it would just be one asset. But I don't think that's a bad thing. You know, like, I know that people would love it to just be XRP. I get it. I understand. But if we're just thinking realistically, like, the points I've just put forward, I think you can understand what I'm saying. And if you can kind of just get past the idea of, like, you know, just XRP being the one and stuff like that, like, it does make sense. You know, as much as I'd love to say, yeah, just XRP, it does make sense. Those points do make sense. So for me, that's the way I would be thinking. I still think that's great, to be honest with you. I think it's sensible, in all honesty, I do. And it would still be massively positive for XRP anyway. So I'm not going to complain with that. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to complain, because this is the thing, right? If you've been hearing about it with the whole Bitcoin thing, a lot of the Bitcoin maxis now are upset because Trump didn't say it was just a Bitcoin reserve. Like, they wanted it to just be Bitcoin and Bitcoin alone. And now they're, you know, getting all angry because, you know, he didn't just say a Bitcoin reserve, and that he's looking at, you know, a digital asset reserve. And that's the thing. I think, like, we've got to just get over that mindset of thinking just one coin. Like, you know, like, I invest in other things other than just XRP, but, you know, I do like XRP a lot. It's, you know, my favorite crypto. But I just understand that, like, it shouldn't just be a one crypto to rule them all, and it won't be anyway. So I just have that understanding. So for me personally, you know, I'm just very, very happy to see this more than anything. But that would be my thought process. I would be thinking it's going to be more likely, you know, more than just one crypto. So still great news in my opinion, but that's my critical thinking on it. You guys let me know what you think. We can also, you know, have like a conversation, a debate or whatever. I'm happy to, you know, talk it out, but let me know what you guys think. Thank you very much for watching this. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell Take care.